Hello, boys and girls, my book club kids. I'm really sorry that we had to abruptly cancel the book club, and so I've been thinking about you a lot here lately in ways that I could continue to get through our special book here, Wishtree, because it's definitely a favorite of mine. And so I've decided to send you video links via YouTube, and I hope that you will watch these videos and do the little activities that I ask of you and think about the questions that I pose so that hopefully you'll still get a full book club experience. It won't be the same as us meeting together, but this is the best we can do for now. And I hope that as I'm speaking to you, that you are healthy and happy and you've made the best of this situation. I hope that you've taken the opportunity to use some of these online resources that many companies have offered, and I know a lot of your teachers have been sending out some really good activities for you to do. Please check that out via the Hillcrest Elementary YouTube channel. There's so much on there that has been put from teachers and staff, and I can tell you everyone misses you so much, and we don't like this. We wish we were at school with you, enjoying our final weeks before summer break, but it's important that we abide by the government guidelines and do what we're asked to do right now. So we're going to make the most of it. And the last time we met, we went through chapters 11 through 15. So today, I would like to just do a brief discussion on chapters 16 through 20, because that's where we left off. And I'm going to do this in 5 chapters, just like we did when we were in the book club. And so I'm just going to briefly talk about the events that have happened in chapters 16 through 20. In 11 through 15, where we left off was we saw that Red had this word carved on her trunk. The word leave. And at this point, we don't know who carved this on the tree. And this, of course, is in Samar's family's yard. They are renting the house from Francesca. And so at the beginning of chapter 16, just bear with me. Francesca, is trying to decide what to do, and ultimately she's considering cutting down the tree. It's all of the animals, they take refuge in Red, and that they have heard about what Francesca may do, and the baby animals and the animals that take refuge there, they're all worried about it. But Red is calm and collect, and she's not worried about it. She thinks everything will be fine. Francesca has said that she was going to cut him down before, and that didn't happen. So Red just thinks that, it's probably not going to happen again. Then Red cracks a lame joke, and Bongo, instead of laughing, gets angry with him. And that's when Red gets a little nervous, because usually Bongo laughs at his jokes, and Bongo doesn't. Bongo gets upset. So then Red starts to feel a little worried there. So when we go on to chapter 17, Red starts to get concerned about Samar, because at this point, Samar has not seen the message on the tree. And Red does not want Samar to believe the message is for her family, even though we know that it is. When Samar arrives home from school, the reporter asks her if she would like to comment on the word carved into the tree. Samar silently walks back into the tree indicating that she knows what's going on. So then we go to chapter 18. And in chapter 18, the police come to question Samar's family because they're doing an investigation. Anytime property is damaged, the police can get involved because that's a crime to go to damage someone's property. So the police have gotten involved, and the family next door, they also question. As they walk past Red, they make mention of the fact that it might be the last time that they walk past Red. So should they make a wish? Red continues to try to reassure the babies who live in his hollows and branches. He then says that he is most worried for Samar because she reminds him of Francesca's great-great-grandmother long ago. So then, as the chapters go on, we're going to start hearing the story of Red. Because remember, Red's a couple hundred years old. And Red has been in this family for a long, long time. In chapter 19, Samar comes out of her house late at night. And remember, the animals really respond to Samar. They feel safe around her. And if you know anything about animals, animals are very perceptive of a person's character. And so I want you to think about maybe some pets that you own, and the pets that have maybe bonded with you or bonded with someone in your family. A couple of years ago, we adopted a Chiweenie from the pound. And this was a rescue dog. This dog had been abused. And so the dog already had a name. His name was Marshall, and he was very, 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 very skittish. Well, we adopted Marshall to be our son's trainer's little doggy. And so we brought him home, and we tried to get the two to interact. But it was very evident later on that Marshall was indeed going to be my older son, Jameson's doggy. He trusted Jameson, and he bonded with Jameson very quickly. And now, although Marshall loves Trainer and he loves the rest of the family, he is definitely Jameson's dog. And whenever Jameson goes away for a couple days or whatever, Marshall just squeals and howls. He misses his doggy dad. And then when Jameson comes home, he's so excited to be around him because he trusts Jameson. And dogs and animals of all sorts really have like a sixth sense of knowing who they can trust. And this is what we see in Samar. These animals trust her. Because you and I know, if we go outside and there's a squirrel in our front yard, what's that squirrel going to do when they see us? You hear my son? He said poop. You may hear Trainer. He's 5. No, that squirrel is going to run away because they don't trust us. But these animals know that they can trust Samar. So I think that's something that we can see about her character in general, that she is a loving and trusting young girl. Trainer. So when she comes out, she sits under Red's branches, and all the baby animals come to her. To me, that reminds me, if you've ever seen the movie Snow White, that reminds me of a scene from Snow White. Bongo, which we know is the crow, who is Red's best friend, flies down and gives Samar a tiny key on a ribbon, a gift from her, Bongo's mother. Red begins to think about whether or not he has done enough for the world. Because now that he's possibility going to be chopped down, he's wondering, have I done enough? He feels that perhaps his life has been too safe. At the end of the chapter, Red sees Stephen watching from the window. In Stephen's eyes, Red sees a wish. Now, I'm going to read chapter 22 because this is the chapter that I want us to have a little discussion about. So chapter 20, after Samar left, I felt restless. Restlessness is not a useful quality in a tree. We move in tiny bits, cell by cell, roots inching further, buds nudging into the sunlight. Or we move because someone transplants us to a new direction. When you're a red oak, there's no point in feeling fidgety. Trees, as I said, are meant to listen, to observe, to endure. And yet, just once, before I said goodbye to the world, what would it be like to be something other than passive? To be an actor in the stories unfolding around me? Maybe even to make things a little bit better. Bongo, I said softly, are you awake? I am now, she grumbled. I have a question. I'll get back to you first thing in the morning. How does friendship happen? And I want you to think about this right now. Think about how your friendships have began. And I'm going to share you a friendship story. One of my friendship stories here in just a second. Bongo responded by snoring. I could tell it was a fake snore. Her real snores are so loud they scare the baby opossums. I'm serious, I said. Bongo groaned. I don't know, it just happens. But how does it happen? Friends have things in common, Bongo said. And there you go, your answer in 5 words. See you in the AM, pal. I thought about her reply, but what do you and I really have in common when you get right down to it? With a loud exhale, Bongo flew to the ground. Okay, I'm thoroughly awake now. Thank you very much. What's this all about? Just an idea. Here's an idea for you. Ideas are a bad idea, said Bongo, especially if someone is in busybody mode. I'm looking at you, Red. Back to my question. Why are we friends? Okay, fine. Let me think on it a minute. Bongo walked in a slow circle around my trunk, considering. I love the way birds move, so unlike trees. We bend with the wind, we're graceful and unhurried. Birds, on the other hand, move in flits and twitches. Their heads whip from side to side as if they just heard astonishing news. Bongo paused. Well, to begin with, you're my home, and I'm your tenant. Now, I really love that. You're my home, and I'm your tenant. So think about your house, because where you live, you are the tenant of. So I don't think we think much about our houses until, like here recently, where, we've been stuck at home. And we are the people who dwells in these homes. And so that's the comparison that Bongo is making to their friendship. That Red is the person that he comes to. And good friendships are like that. When you have a good friend, they're the person that you go to when you need someone to talk to, cry with, laugh with, maybe even get upset with. So I really like that comparison. But that's not really a reason for us to be friends. I've had residents I wasn't particularly fond of. That squirrel, what was his name? Squitch? The one with bad breath? It's not important. Knew it was Squinch. Bongo, I said, please focus. Bongo gazed up at me. We're friends because we're friends, Red. Isn't that enough? Her voice was small and sweet, not her usual get-to-know the crow tone. You're right, I said. But suppose 2 people needed to be friends. How would you make that happen? Maybe get them together doing something. They yak, share a laugh. Voila, friendship. Am I right? I I don't like it when you humming leads to ideas. You can go back to sleep, Bongo. Thanks for talking. You're a good friend. Likewise, Bongo flew back up to her nest. Hey, be sure to let me sleep in. Bongo? Now what? One more thing. Why do you think people can be so cruel to each other? Another good question for us to think about. How is it that someone could be so cruel to a family like Samar's and leave such an ugly message? Had Samar's family did anything to deserve that? No. It's not like the rest of us are exactly angels. Last night I saw Agnes eat a whole lizard in one bite. Agnes, the barn owl, who lived with her nestlings in my highest hollow, flapped her wings in annoyance. Hey, a girl's got to eat, and you're a fine one to talk, Bongo, she said. Is there anything crows won't eat? My point, Bongo continued, is that the world's a tough place. Doesn't matter if you're a bunny or a lizard or a kid. With that, Bongo started snoring, for real this time. But I was still wide awake. Ma, what's the horrible noise? Came the startled voice of the baby possum. That's just Bongo sleeping, her mother replied. Bongo had been right. I was hatching an idea. She'd always said I was a busybody, not to mention an optimist. And an optimist, as we've talked before, is someone who looks on the bright side. An optimist, Batinsky. Well, there were worse things. Trees are the strong, silent type. Unless we're not. So in chapter 20, the theme of how do people become friends? And why can people be so cruel came up. So I just wanted to share with you a picture of, this is myself, a few years younger. This is me and my bestest friend. Her name is Jessica. And here we are together. We just received our master's degree together. And how we became friends was kind of similar to Bongo and Red. Jessica got a job at Hillcrest the year after I started teaching. And we started teaching side by side. And she was kind of the shy type. And if anyone knows Miss Seal, you know I'm not shy at all. So we were completely opposite. And we formed a friendship because we were working together. Since then, Jessica has moved on. She no longer works at Hillcrest anymore. She teaches preschool somewhere else. But we're still friends. And so I want you to think about, as I close, about a special friendship that you have with someone. Now, I know you're second and third graders, but some of you have formed some really close friendships. This can be a friendship within your family. It can be a friendship at school, a friendship maybe in your church family. It can be, I had a really close relationship with one of my cousins, and we're still really good friends. And what I want you to do is I want you to either on a little piece of paper or maybe get you a little notebook, because I really want you to start reflecting on some of these things that we discussed, is write about, number one, how do friends happen? I can tell you that my friendship happened largely because we were two brand new teachers who were just trying to figure things out, and we leaned on each other to help one another become better teachers. And that's how we became friends. And we became such good friends that we went on to college together and achieved a master's degree together. That's how our friendship began. But we were two very opposite people. I was very different from Jessica. She was, like I said, very quiet, and I was more loud. And so that's the first thing I want you to write about is, how do friendships form and how do they happen? And number two, how do you make a good friendship last? These friends that you have now, do you think you'll be friends forever? I can tell you that a lot of my friends, I don't see them anymore. I don't talk to them anymore. How do you make a good friendship last? And what does it take to be a good friend? And then I want you to think about Red versus Bongo. Who do you think in the story is maybe a better friend? Maybe your opinion will change as we read the book. And why do you feel that way? Do you feel like their friendship is equal? Do you feel like both of them contribute a lot to the friendship? So as you reflect on chapters 16 through 20, that's your little assignment. And I'm going to hop on here probably Monday because we really need to catch up. And so just in a few days. And I will go through chapters 21 through 25. So if you've not read those chapters, make sure that you read those chapters and tune back in so that we can have a little discussion. Thank you so much, boys and girls. I really want to get through this book. This book is very special to me. It's a book that I just love, and I believe in the values that are taught in this book. So I hope you will continue to enjoy it as you're doing your schoolwork at home. Have a great afternoon, and I hope to be reunited with you soon. And thanks for joining our book club today. Even though we couldn't be together, we're kind of together.